I will say that this is an especially emotional day for me. 1989, I came to Corvallis to work at this then senior center, and then became the assistant director for the Parks and Recreation Department, and then the director. So I started here, and I get to close here. We have a gorgeous facility. I think the outcome is beautiful that you will all soon see if you haven't already. And we'll march forward, and I'll get to come here and participate.
This is quite a special occasion. Karen talked about it being a long time in coming. She probably has more sense of that than I, but I have these steps of how we get there. And so I'm delighted to be here today. I'm excited that we're now actually opening this and having expanded it, having moved it forward. And I think of this as, here we are in the middle of some difficult times. Look at all of us spread out here. This is a gathering, but it's a gathering where we're all distant. We're all trying to be safe. We're all wearing masks. And so it's a challenging time. And here we are in this challenging time with what I think of as a ray of light. We're reopening, grand opening, I guess is the more appropriate phrase, of an expanded, improved Corvallis Community Center. And used to be known as the Senior Center for years, and is now the Community Center, and I think that's very appropriate as it had begun to be used by the whole community, and now it will continue to be used by the whole community, and it will be a better spot, facility, to be able to support that activity. And it becomes a central place for our community to come together, for meeting each other. I'm finding out how hard it is to recognize faces and try and understand who is who wearing masks, but that's part of the challenge. But we get together, get to know people, get to connect, get to be part of community. And then we have the other things on top of that, whether it's continuing education, whether it's learning new things out of that continuing education, whether staying in shape. And when I looked at the site for this grand opening and realized there's a whole week of activities, and you start looking through all of those, you see every one of those activities being here, both remote and limited in-person kind of activities. So this is a momentous day, and I'm delighted to be here. I thank you all for inviting me to be here today, because this is a good example of how you can do things like this in these difficult times, still move forward, still have a positive face for the future, and be able to do it safely. So I appreciate all that's done. As I look around, I keep turning and saying, who am I speaking to? Where are they as it's all spread out? So congratulations to Parks and Rec, to the Corvallis Community Center, or C3, which I like the short, catchy name as well. And congratulations on this grand opening of the Corvallis Community Center.
You all know I live about 2 blocks away, so I've been watching the evolution of the park and the senior center into the community center since it began. And one of the things that has really struck me as the park has become more upgraded, since we've got the pickleball court, since they've done a better job on the volleyball court, since they put in the bathrooms with the hot water, is how many more people are using this park. For a long while, it was pretty empty most of the time. You would see the sorority coming over to practice a dance occasionally. You would see people playing volleyball, but you would never see people playing on the equipment, children on the swings, things like that. In fact, they were often broken. And about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months now, when the park was actually sort of reopened, it was packed. I came by one Saturday morning, and there were people playing pickleball, and there were children on the play structure, and there's a bunch of guys playing soccer over in the field, and the place was being used at a level that I had never seen before. And I found that really exciting and positive during this very dark time of the pandemic. And so my hope is, as the building itself reopens as a community center, we will see that same level of increased engagement within the building as we have outside. And I want to thank Parks and Rec and the city for making my neighborhood a much better and happier place because of what they have done here. So thank you. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Karen.
One of the reasons, besides the need to expand the community center, was we received a very generous donation from the Chandlers. And through that donation, we were able to use system development charges to match it and complete this project. Our next speaker is Jennifer Stoltley. She is from US Bank. She's the vice president there, and she worked closely with the Chandlers in making this donation happen. Jennifer?
Thank you, and I do want to give a special thank you to Karen and Jackie. It's been a pleasure to work with you along this process. I have known the Chandlers, Leonard, or Doug as most of his friends knew him, since about 2012 when they approached me and said, we want to do something for our community. How do we get that done? And so I worked with them. They were long-term members in this community. Doug came to Albany in 1922, where he was educated in the local schools. He was an engineering student at Oregon State, and then he was drafted in 1942. He was a decorated fighter pilot in Navy fighter pilot in World War II. And when he returned home, he married Edith, and they developed a business, the Chandler Printing business here in town. And this is where they made their community, and they poured into their community. They may not have been well known in the community. They may not have been a normal, well-known name. But what they did behind the scenes is probably known to some of you. You just don't know it. And that was the legacy they wanted to pass on to this community. And they did that through their generous donations. But it's also something for us today as I stand in front of this beautiful building and understanding the complexities of this project and the parking issues and the fact that, you know, scheduling and rooms and trying to get facilitating just community to happen here. They would be so excited to know that this is done and it's been accomplished for their community. And I think that they would want everyone to think about what then we can give back to our community as a thank you to them. How can we pass this torch forward as we think about and enter and use the community center and the ballroom that is named after the Chandlers? We might think about what else we can do for our community and love and pour into this community, because it's a very unique community that cares for one another. And so I guess with that, I wanted to thank everyone who put all of the effort into this, but I also want to just admire what is able to be done with the generosity of others. And so I appreciate you being here, and it's been a pleasure to see this come to place. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to welcome everyone to our new center. It was really exciting to be here. And I just want to thank everyone. You heard of so many folks who have contributed to this program and the center development. It takes a community to build a community center, and we couldn't have done it without everyone who added to and supported the development and the building of the center. A lot of different people contributed to it, and you heard a few from Jackie and Wildish. They had a huge team here supporting us, but it also took a lot of staff support around us and community support that helped make this happen as well, much like the Chandler support that helped kick it off. Over 50 years ago, the community
started gathering to serve and support one another. And with the Corvallis Community Center, we're going to continue to serve the community. The foundation was built by our predecessors, and it's a solid foundation. And with the dedicated staff that we have now with Natalie and Megan and Terry and our casual staff and amazing volunteers that are helping, we're going to continue to do really good things for our community. Our amazing participants have stayed with us through the craziness of construction, and they've gone all over this community to keep participating. They've been able to learn about all these new little classrooms we have all over the city, and they've stayed with us. And now they're still staying with us as we go into learning about being virtual and how to continue with that. And what's really neat is this building is taking us to the new foundation of using new technology to stay connected as a community. We're using art classes and cooking classes, lectures, and fitness classes virtually now, so we can come into your home and help you stay connected with us. We're extending our community in a safe way during the COVID pandemic to help you stay with us and stay connected. And it's because of the assets that you were able to put into the new center. So we want you to come out and check out what we have. We have virtual classes, we have in-person classes, and a lot of our classes are both. So you can do what is best for you to stay and be involved. And we're just real excited to be here for you. And that's what we are. We're here for you to come and be safe and participate in what works best for you. So welcome, and come inside and check us out.